The Festival of Shadows in 2012, Aryan Malhotra, a 19-year-old college student, traveled with his parents and elder brother Kabir to Bikramnagar to attend the Grand Chaturmukh Mela, the largest spiritual fair in the region. The festival was believed to be sacred, where the water of the Saraswati River gained divine energy. But for Aryan, this was more than just a religious journey, it was an adventure. He had often heard tales from his grandmother that both gods and demons had fought over this place and that mystical energies still lingered. The first sign of something strange when Aryan and his family reached the Saraswati River for a holy dip, he felt an unnatural warmth in the water, as if it were boiling beneath him. He told Kabir, but his brother laughed it off. "You're imagining things, Aryan. This water is sacred." But Aryan couldn't shake off his uneasiness. That evening, as they explored the festival, he noticed a strange-looking sage sitting in a secluded corner. His pale white eyes stared at the sky, and his lips muttered unintelligible chants. Drawn to the mysterious aura, Aryan called out to Kabir, "Let's check him out." Kabir hesitated. "We shouldn't disturb him, Aryan. Let's not interfere in his devotion." But Aryan ignored the warning. As he approached the sage, he noticed that the air around him felt heavier. "Baba?" Aryan called. No response. Curious, he picked up a small stick and lightly poked the sage. The sage's eyes snapped open. His white pupils locked onto Aryan, and a chilling smile crept onto his lips. "Ah, you have arrived. I was waiting for you." Aryan's heart pounded. How did the sage know him? Before he could react, the sage took off a Rudraksh mala, sacred bead necklace, from his neck and placed it in Aryan's hand. "Wear this tonight. All your questions will be answered tomorrow." Without understanding why, Aryan took the mala and walked back to his family. The nightmare begins that night. As Aryan fell asleep with the mala around his neck, his dreams turned into a horrific nightmare. He saw himself standing in a dark forest, surrounded by burning trees. The sky was crimson-red, and an eerie whisper called his name. The whisper grew louder, until a shadowy figure with glowing red eyes emerged from the fire. It pointed a long, bony finger at Aryan. "You came looking for me. Now it's time to come with me." Before Aryan could scream, the shadow lunged into him. He woke up drenched in sweat. His mala was burning hot. Terrified, he tore it off and threw it on the floor before hiding under his blanket. A series of misfortunes over the next few days. The Malhotra family faced unexplainable misfortunes. A fire broke out in Aryan's father's clothing shop. Kabir lost his job suddenly. His mother's health began deteriorating. One afternoon, as Aryan cleaned his wardrobe, he froze in terror. The same cursed mala lay inside. He rushed to his mother, who admitted that she had saved it, thinking it was holy. Now, Aryan was certain that the mala was the cause of their troubles. He ran outside and threw it into a garbage bin. The return of the shadow. That night, Aryan sat watching a TV show on his laptop. Suddenly, he felt a presence behind him. Turning around, he saw nothing. But as he looked back at the screen, his blood ran cold. A dark figure with glowing red eyes stood in the corner of his room. It whispered in a chilling voice. "Come back to the river, Aryan." Heart pounding, Aryan sprinted to Kabir's room. "Kabir! It's back. The shadow, it wants me to return to the Saraswati." Kabir dismissed his fears. "You're just imagining things. Tomorrow, we'll visit a temple and everything will be fine." But Aryan knew the truth. The next morning, without telling anyone, he boarded a bus back to Bikramnagar. The final confrontation. At midnight, the bus stopped for tea. As Aryan opened his bag, his hands began to tremble. The cursed mala was inside again. Taking deep breaths, Aryan decided, "I must find the sage and end this curse." Upon reaching the Chaturmukh Mela, he ran through the fair, searching desperately. Finally, he found him. Collapsing at his feet, Aryan begged for forgiveness. The sage's face darkened. "Fool! You disturbed a meditating sage. Now suffer the consequences." Aryan's tears wouldn't stop. He now understood his mistake.
Seeing his sincerity, the sage sighed. He took back the mala and wore it again.
Immediately, Aryan felt lighter, as if a great weight had lifted from his soul. The dark shadow reappeared, hovering above the sage, before vanishing into his body.
The curse ends. That night, Aryan took another dip in the Sarasvati river.
He had learned an important lesson: never disturb a sage lost in devotion.
Back home, he told his family everything. Slowly, their troubles began to fade away. Today, the Malhotra family is preparing to visit the Chaturmukh Mela again.